You know that close friend you have that's also a member of the opposite sex? The one you tell anything to but wouldn't even think about sleeping with? Well, maybe you have thought about it, or maybe they've thought about it. I'm KATEY Lee, and today we're going to hit the streets of Detroit to find out what real people are saying on whether or not men and women can have a friendship without any sexual attraction getting in the way.
No, absolutely not.
And why do you feel that way?
Well, you know, I just feel like it's natural for a man to be attracted to a woman. So unless it's a situation where the man sees the woman as you know, just someone that's completely unattractive, then there's going to be sexual attraction.
It can be done. I don't think that there's always a sexual attraction that is there. I mean, you've got to find common interest, but I think it's becoming more common because the world is changing, and men and women have similar interest, and women were always confined. I think if you go back 30 years ago, men and women's interests were more separate, and now they're overlapping because it's possible for women can play sports, women can do anything. The boundaries aren't there as much.
I think they can be, as long as it was like y'all's friends when y'all was little. But after that, if you meet somebody now, especially at being my age, 24, it's not just friends. It's always something else.
I think it's very difficult. You know, I have some female friends, and I know my wife is probably going to see this, but that there's been no sexual activity, but in terms of eliminating any sort of tension or any connection there, I think it's very, very difficult.
No, women can. I know women can. I don't know if men can or not. I've been told no, but I've had friends, you know, guy friends that I haven't had sex with and they've never tried anything. I don't know if that means there was no attraction there or not.
Well, there you have it. We may not have gotten a definitive answer, but we certainly got enough opinions to last a lifetime. Reporting from the streets of Detroit, I'm KATEY Lee. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Katie. So, can men and women truly be friends without there being some sort of sexual attraction? I was surprised by the responses. What do you think?
Oh, no. You can't. Sooner or later, somebody's going to catch feelings, and maybe the other person has none, but one of you is going to catch feelings, want the other person, maybe just sexually, not, you know, as I want to marry you and love you forever, but it's going to happen, and then, you know, either you get let down or it's going to work out.
Okay.
But I mean, this could be something, you could be friends for 10 years. And 10 years later down the line, it's like, I've loved you since we've been friends.
Now, the woman in the clip said that she thinks that women can, but men can't. What do you think about that, Coco?
No, I think some of my very close, dearest friends are men. And I don't know, we've never broached that subject. It's like, this is my boy, I'm his girl, we talk, we have very, very intense conversations. And I find them attractive, but I am not attracted to them in an intimate way. You know, I wouldn't cross that line because I thought about it. I'm like, you know what, you kind of, no, it'll mess up the friendship. It'll mess up the friendship because once you go there, you can't backpedal. It's like, It's done. I don't even want to look at you no more. I can't even look at you.
So, Mark, are men always going to be attracted to a female friend?
It's rare. It's going to be rare when they aren't. Most of the time, I think they're going to be. I think so.
Okay. Delana, what do you think?
My best friend is a female.
Okay.
So, you know, we've had a relationship for about 15 years. No sexual attraction at all. So, it can happen.
No attraction whatsoever?
None whatsoever. She's like a sister.
Okay. So,
to
what do you
me.
think about that, Jessica?
Yeah,
You know what? If you would have asked me this question 2 years ago, I would have said, oh yeah, because all my friends were guys. They were all guys. They never made a move on me. But sooner or later it comes out that, so I'm attracted to you. I'm attracted to you. Sooner or later they all have tried something. And even the ones that haven't, I guarantee you, if I opened it up to let it happen, they would be all for it. Even if it was just...
So you're saying it's basically something that's suppressed, that you're always carrying around, you're always attracted to these people.
The guy will wait years if he has to, just to play it out.
What about working relationships? You know, you're friends with some of your coworkers that you work with.
I think you establish a friendship and you establish a relationship, and there are the line, and you will not cross the line. I work with men all the time, and it's like, hey, I think you're nice looking, this is what's going on, but I would never want to cross that line because it gets messy, it gets complicated, especially with coworkers. Because once you quote unquote, as one of my friends say, dip your pen in company ink, then it's kind of hard to I can't be your boss.
Right.
If I'm working with you, it gets uncomfortable because if I see you flirting, I'm like, oh, I saw you flirting with her. Okay. Coffee break, I got you.
Right. Well, doctor, what do you think about this? Is it true that men and women cannot be friends without there being some sort of sexual attraction, with the exception of Delano?
I just think it's very interesting. When I hear that question, it's almost as if we're talking in absolutes. So we're making the assumption that because there's a man and there's a woman, automatically there's going to be some attraction. And I think what Coco said, yes, there may be some attraction, but it doesn't mean that you have to act on that attraction. And that's the most appropriate thing, especially in the workplace. And you can just look outside of yourself and say, what an attractive man, what an attractive woman, but then leave it there.
Right.
Leave it there. And then there are some cases where it's left there. And you can even articulate that, and it's just left there.
But is it always something that you have to suppress? I mean, can it just be something like with Delano there?
I totally agree with Delano, because myself, I have a male friend, and it's always just been a platonic relationship. I think he's a great guy. I'm sure he thinks I'm a great girl. And it's always just been that, just a friendly type of a relationship.
I think that's kind of scary to think that everyone's running around attracted to each other, but you have to suppress it, especially say if you're in a relationship and you don't want to be controlling, or if your mate is working with some other attractive females, that they're necessarily going to be sexually attracted to them.
But then that goes to an insecurity, because you can't put your mate in the vacutainer and say, I don't want you to look at another woman, I don't want you to see anybody else. You have to be realistic. I find my male friends attractive, but would I sleep with them? No. And we've slept together. We've slept together in the bed and everything. And I'm like, ooh, scoot over, move.
And nothing happened.
And nothing happened.
Okay.
And I'm so glad nothing did happen, because honestly, you put blinders on, you're embarrassed, you don't even want to look at them the next day. You feel like Adam and Eve. You're like, I'm hiding in the garden, I'm hiding. I don't know about
Jessica?
I just think that, and I've slept in a bed with my male friends too, and the only ones who won't ever make a move seems to be the gay ones. So I mean, I'm just saying, one of my best male friends is in the audience today, and I mean, and no disrespect to him, but I honestly feel like if I said, hey, let's just get together one time and just see what happens, I guarantee you he would say, yeah, let's go for it.
That's a really good friend.
Not after the show he won.
But I mean, and I feel that. I do feel that way. And that's just not for, if the woman's saying it's the man, men to women too,
I don't know. I'm still thinking about the whole Delano with his friend, and he said, how long have you guys been friends?
15
years.
Mm-hmm.
And never any kind of, you never looked at her one way and said, ooh.
None. She talks about her relationships. I talk about my relationships to her. It's like a sister. She's my best friend. She just happens to be a woman.
Right, so it can happen. It's not necessarily always that way that you have to suppress.
It's extremely rare, let me put it that way, because I really thought back, a few years ago that I was one of the guys, like, oh, these are my boys, I'm just one of the guys, kind of. They don't look at me like that, but somehow, and I've slowly found out, surely, one by one, okay, maybe they do. Okay, they do.
So is it rare, doctor?
I agree with everybody on the panel. It's an individual, it's a couple thing, it's a friendship thing, but it is possible, absolutely I'll say, to have a platonic relationship amongst a man and a woman, yes.
Okay. All right, guys, so scenario, everything has failed in your relationship miserably except the sex. Can a relationship survive on sex alone? We'll talk about that after the break.